All right, yeah, here we go. Yay! We did it. There it is. Papa Sweet. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I appreciate that sub, my friend. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. And this is for you, my friend.
Hello and welcome to We Speak English Good TV. I'm your announcer, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Now please, put your fists in the air. Wave them like you do not care. For your host, Mike EP.
Oh, thank you, Jean-Claude. You're so kind. I appreciate that. Kendra, thank you so much for coming on the show. And on a Sunday, nonetheless, I feel like this is supposed to be your day off or something. So I appreciate
No,
it.
no, thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So,
I was gonna come on with I have a feather bow, and I was gonna come on like Ric Flair, but then feathers got everywhere, and I was like in my mouth, and I was like, no, we have to X that idea. It's right here.
well, I appreciate that. Are you a fan of professional wrestling? I don't know.
I did. I grew up. I was kind of my little brother got into it when it was like The Rock, Stone Cold,
Yeah.
Scotty Too Hottie,
Hey.
Rikishi, and I dove in with the Hardy Boys. So
Okay.
I'm really big Jeff Hardy fan, my number one.
Right. I'm going to pull up the Hardy Boys for everybody, just in case they don't know who that
I
is.
know kids don't know. Well, my nephew's 9 and he knows it all.
I love that. I love that. Hold on. We're going to bring up some images. We're gonna bring up. Oh, we got to bring our guest back,
Look
too.
at them, gorgeous.
Look at these. Look at these guys.
Look at Jeff.
So the for me, being as old as I am, I kind of fell off, like right as The Rock was like rising to power, and so yeah, so like I came up
His
and
waves.
I was watching WCW. And I like when I was in it, I was like so hard into WCW because Hulk Hogan went over to WCW, but then he turned evil, and it was NWA, and I was just like, this. Oh wait, is it not NWA?
NWA.
Excuse me.
Like, he might have
Wrong
said
group.
the N in NWA.
Right,
knowing
which
him,
turns
but-
which turns out to be like a thing that he likes to do in the weirdest way. It's a weird, like what went down with Hulk Hogan, like that is the weirdest way for your racism to come out. Like, I mean, it's not funny, but like just the idea that someone's in the throes of passion and like that's what's coming out of your mouth, like that is a very
Oh.
odd and weird situation. But at the time, and I didn't know about his racism, and I was a fan of his, so like I definitely enjoyed that whole changeover, and like Sting went over, and oh my god, and I think Ric Flair even was in it too for a little
They
while.
like bounce back so much
Right.
that I can't keep track of it. I
Right,
just
exactly.
really,
I wasn't bringing you on to talk about wrestling, but
I mean, I could kind of dish about it, but
right. Well,
it was my thing.
hey, Andre the Giant's the GOAT. You think so? Cathosaurus, how you doing? Welcome in. Thank you
I
for being
think
here.
Andre, it's so hard to watch him like old footage because he looks like he's in so much pain.
Oh,
It's
man.
like he's just like and you're
Yes.
just like, God, let that guy. And the outfit choice was it's all bothersome. A
Right.
lot of the old wrestling, the outfit choices, there was a tag team where they were just like in dominatrix outfits. I don't remember their names, but my husband was watching an old like SummerSlam or something, and I was
Yeah.
like, that is BDSM.
I need to know who these wrestlers were. And this is
God,
something I
can't
didn't.
remember their names.
When I put in dominatrix outfits wrestling, a really interesting thing comes up here. So
Google image will give you a wild ride.
yeah, I won't show you guys what I'm looking at, but anyways, I guess we're moving on from that. He was in permanent pain. Yeah, Cathosaurus, you're right. Andre the Giant was a big dude who suffered. Wasn't it what's
He
that?
probably had like a thyroid issue. A lot
Yeah.
of people with giant like that grow larger. It's a
Right.
thyroid gland issue. I watch a lot of TLC. Well, back in the day before it was just 600-pound life and, that big old family that keeps reproducing. But, back in the day when they actually taught you things.
Yeah, yeah. The TLC, that the Learning Channel, the fine folk. Are they the ones who brought us Honey Boo Boo too, or is that something else? Is
I
that
believe so.
the Learning Channel? The more you know, the more you know
Hey.
about your fellow countrymen. Anyways, he was you're right, Kendra. He was in a ton of pain towards the end, but before that, he was a legend, and he actually wanted to push through the pain. Wrestling was all he wanted to do. He also declined treatment for his giganticism so that he could continue wrestling the way he did. Look at that. Look at the knowledge in here. Look at the knowledge being dropped. Yeah, that's that sucks too because he died so. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, he was pretty young. He definitely wasn't an old man when he died. So, I think he was in his 30s. Like, hold on,
Oh
how
wow. I would have guessed he was like in his 40s. I don't know,
probably
because
is.
also like watching those old ones and having your phone right there, you Google their age.
Mm-hmm.
And we were watching one with Ultimate Warrior, and I was like, God, he looks like rough.
Yeah.
He was in his early 20s. I was like, no way is that guy like the roids,
What,
the roids.
yeah. Oh, okay, okay. So you were absolutely right. He was 46. He was born in 1946, died in 1993. So yes, absolutely, he was in his 40s. I don't know why I thought he was in his 30s. Whatever. But yeah, there is something weird about how like back in the 70s and 80s and even in the 90s a little that people in their 20s just look like they were like 45
Yeah.
midlife. Like what was going on that was so
Well,
stressful?
Well, me and my friend were talking about this because we're
Yeah.
like, you watch these old sitcoms now, like Home Improvement or
Mhm.
anything from like ABC, TJF, and you're like, wow, Tim Taylor was like my age, but he had a house,
Yeah.
he had a wife, he had kids. So that made them seem older. But
Yeah.
like, as we're obviously millennials, were the issue. We don't have homes, we don't have a lot of kids. We're like choosing alternative lifestyles than our parents. It's
Mhm.
like we think that's young. So to see these people in our age back in the day, I don't know, just like the house and everything
Right.
makes them seem older.
Yeah, absolutely. Like having a house payment, having a factory job or whatever you're doing, like that takes a toll. And then as the millennials go forth and ruin the world, I guess, we've taken on this sort of like gig economy and we've sort of taken on this like alternate lifestyle, which is not like striving for. I mean, I'm from the Midwest, so there is this mentality here where it's like, you work hard, you make your money, you take care of your family, you have yourself a beer, and you watch TV at the end of the day, and your food's ready, and this very traditional ideal. And unfortunately, the economy doesn't support that anymore because of all the jobs are gone now and shipped away, and so there's a lot of just disenfranchised people around here, and that kind of turns ugly in ideology. When you felt like you've been burned by your own your own city, your own county, your own government, and it turns into some icky stuff. But see, look, this is fun. I immediately started going down the sad path.
But it's interesting to think like my nephew who's 9 and his friends, what will they think like we look like? Do we look
Right.
old? Do we look like, because we don't have homes, we don't have, I'm not giving him cousins or
Right.
anything anytime soon.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting in the future what they look back and like, do they think like, yeah, their grandparents looked old, but we were like, I don't know, a hot mess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hot mess generation.
Well, like I mean, we are as millennials like not having as many kids, and I do see kind of I'm not trying to get on that Bill Gates thing of like we gotta like reduce the population, but we do need to start like thinking about these things and taking it very seriously. And if we are sort of choosing to like follow careers more and follow passions more, and because of the hard work our parents did, I don't know. It's I don't know. I forgot what I was saying in the middle of that sentence, so I just said I don't know. That was my. Can you go through what we were just saying? This has been happening lately. I just been losing track in the middle of talking. So, we were talking about our parents and.
Well, they worked hard
Yes,
and
less
provided for us,
right.
and now
And,
we're like, we'll provide for ourselves.
right. And we don't really want to take on the responsibility of like, bringing another person into this world,
God no.
which I have a son and I love him to death and he's awesome. But it's, like me and my wife were two selfish musicians, when he was born, and we had no intentions on having children, and we just wanted to live a life of selfish artists, just fulfilling our own passions and needs and dreams. And surprise, surprise, here comes our buddy. But again, whatever, it was fine. But yeah, like it is something that is interesting. Universal get out excuse. Yes, exactly, Cathosaurus. Now I can consistently tell friends, sorry guys, I got a son. You know how it is.
I mean,
oh, you don't.
That's
Okay.
that's a positive.
It is only because like as I get older, I have no want or need to go out and be with people that I don't really know that well, who are drinking alcohol, like who are just, and loudly talking to each other with no mask on and like just whatever, And not that I am a anti-masker or a for masker kind of guy, but I'm guessing that your experience with masks and my experience with masks are probably completely different just because of where we live geographically.
Yes.
So
yeah, California. Well, it's also where you are in California. I was down at my mom. I'm in Long Beach, like the LA area, and my mom's down near Palm Springs in a little white trash town, Cabazon, California. Shout out.
Hey.
And so that's.
Oh my God! I'm so sorry. I'm
and
so sorry.
I had to go to the bathroom, so I ran into a grocery store, and like the first people I saw, no mask. In like where I live, the security guard will not let you in the grocery store without a mask. So I was like, yeah, I'm very for my mask. My husband's a cancer survivor, so like we can't get sick.
Yeah, no, and absolutely. I people be safe. Just be safe out there and just watch your back and stuff. But yeah, like in Ohio, I've been going to the gym and nobody's been wearing a mask at the gym since like February. And yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The numbers aren't. The numbers are just as bad as everyone else's. So it's like, what's the truth? What's not? I did see this really interesting meme though that kind of made me think about it and think twice and start sort of participating. Because like around here, you feel weird with your mask on. Like you feel like why is this person here?
Yeah, you're kind of like, oh, like I'll go jogging or something, and nobody's like, I don't wear that when I'm jogging because I'm like,
right, it's outside,
and I'm vaccinated, whatever. But I'm just like, you feel weird if you pass someone with it. Like I'm like, I'm so sorry. Right. Like it's like,
yeah,
it's kind of the peer pressure.
No, for real, and but I mean, Ohio is just like we have been so ready to not give a crap about anything. We've been I can't wait to not give a shit about the mask, and that's where we're at. And so when everybody sees like a masked person, it's almost like they're like the pariahs. Like, what are you doing here? Why are you here infecting us with your mask? It's a weird place, Ohio. It's a weird place. I'm not necessarily against it, but I have reconsidered like what I'm going to do with the mask because of this meme I saw where they show this petri dish. Yeah, I know. That's just ridiculous. I know that the things I say are ridiculous, but I saw this meme where it showed like the petri dishes of like a sneeze without a mask, sneeze with a mask, talking for a minute without a mask, with a mask, and coughing and just a couple different things, and you can see the huge difference. Whereas like the mask, which I think it's a little bit disingenuous because there is the virus can get through masks. It's absolutely a possibility can get through masks. And so like the other side was completely nothing on the petri dishes. So like I think that's a bit misleading as a meme, but it does make you think about how much you can transfer this shit. But anyways, mask and
All I
stuff.
gotta say is like Magic School Bus. Ralphie was sick one time and they went inside his body and they taught us about
Yeah.
viruses and how to, prevent them. So I think maybe a lot of people missed that episode back in the 90s, but that's where I was like, guys, Miss Frizzle
we
covered this.
we covered this. We covered this. Yeah, I mean, exactly, and that's why I'm just like I'm not telling people not to wear masks. I'm not telling people what to do about it. Like, you just be responsible, okay? I'm just calling for responsibility, everyone. Let's just be as responsible as we can be out there. I live in Florida. The approach here is what pandemic? It's wild. Right, and now they're ticking up a little, right? They're ticking up with the Delta. Here comes the Delta.
No, there's a Delta Plus overseas. I know
Ooh, can't
Deltas.
wait until the tourist season is
I
over
know.
so we can go back into lockdown. Do you feel that coming? Do you feel like that's a real
Oh yeah.
possibility?
Oh yeah, with like the winter months coming
Mm-hmm.
for sure. There's gonna be an uptick. That's why like our lease is up soon and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, should we head out of California? I just like being in a big city during that
Mm-hmm.
lockdown. It's like LA's great when you can do things,
Right.
but when you can, it's just another place.
Yeah, like just another place to sit in traffic. It's
Yeah, it's
weird.
like my Netflix account can go anywhere.
Right,
So
and the job that you do can
yeah.
go anywhere, and
Mhm.
and that's what's and that's another cool thing about like this millennial generation is that we're sort of setting up these lives where we can be transient if we want to, and
Mhm.
and that's exactly how it is for me and my wife. We're very much like if we need to go, well, let's go. It's like it's fine. My wife, she teaches lessons, online voice lessons, and she's talking to a lot of people overseas. And when the pandemic first started, she was talking to somebody in Taiwan who was like, "Oh yeah, you should think about getting masks because something like it's really bad over here. What's happening?" And this was like in December. And I remember she
Oh.
was like, "Yo, my Taiwanese student keeps telling me maybe we should get masks." And I'm just like, for what? Like, what? Like it before a pandemic and before a mass lockdown, you never think that a pandemic or a mass lockdown could ever even be possible. I mean, it's just nothing that we've ever seen before. So
You're
it's
like,
like,
no.
yeah, no, you're not taking anything seriously. And of course, I'm a stupid American, so I'm just like, I'm fucking number one, bro. I'm cool, like so. The obviously what happened, and but
I always am
she.
like, I'm mad. Oh my God. I remember like March last year, my husband, he had like his last in-person visit at the oncologist. And we
Oh,
asked her, like, what do you think? And she's like, July. This July, it's gonna be,
it'll be
that was
done.
her educated guess up until what information she had. I was like, so I went home. I told my friend, like, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna wear my mask and stuff, but July, and
Right. It's
it's
gonna be
like
all over. I mean, of course
July did not happen.
it was 15 days to curb the spread or whatever, and 15 more days, and then but my wife was now she's talking to people in Spain, and I don't if anybody can remember that Spain was like one of the big hot spots in the beginning where
Mm-hmm.
and because of this podcast I got to talk to musicians experiencing it right out of Madrid, and he's like bodies are leaving by the semi truck full and things are crazy, and people like it was really cool because the whole show sort of shifted into a like what are people doing in the middle of a pandemic? What are musicians and artists doing right now to sort of get through
Mm-hmm.
this, wrap their heads around it and stuff? But in any case, my wife is teaching somebody in Spain, and they're saying, and she's a very wealthy student, and she has lots of ties to the magistry and to the to the government, and she's like
Wow.
casually at these parties that these fucking rich people will have. They literally are talking like city planners are talking. It's like, yes, we're gonna wait until the tourist season again to initiate the lockdown. So in Spain, which I'm not trying to start a panic or anything, people. I'm just saying this is some third, fourth hand information. But you kind of get this idea, and she's not just hearing it from her. She's hearing it from
Mm-hmm.
other people in other countries who are like, like in Singapore. We have a friend in Singapore who is like things are really bad right now, and the government is really doing a lot of overstepping in personal freedoms right now in Singapore. India again, like all these different places, and all these places that don't have access to the vaccines and stuff are really taking a hit. And in any ways, the idea of another lockdown, and Pizza Jams thinks there's going to be another lockdown, and Cartagena don't think so. I don't know, and obviously I'm not a psychic or even a scientist for that matter, but it's like I don't know. Like, so you're thinking of making the Great Escape from L.A.
Yeah, we've talked. There's an offer on the table for New York for my husband,
Ooh.
but I don't want to be in another big
Yeah.
city. His parents are in Virginia, so there's talks of going there and
Mhm.
waiting out another lockdown with
Right.
them, saving on some rent.
Yeah, dude.
Uh,
No, I mean, it's I don't blame anybody, and I left. Me and my wife left a few years ago. We left San Diego, and it was for me it was horrifying. I did not want to come back to Ohio. Like, I escaped from Ohio, and I had no intentions on coming back here. And the thing was is that, like, I knew that she was right, because the neighborhood we were in was definitely pushing artists out. We lived in this neighborhood called Ocean Beach, and it was like a hippie kind of a beach, and it was an artisty. It's very artisty and hippie. It's a cool little neighborhood, but it's artists are just being pushed out by the gang, because obviously people are coming in with more money and trying to, slumlords. It's crazy. Any case, she was absolutely right to get out of there when we did, because if we would have been there through this thing, I don't know what I would have done. Like, it was already like terrible enough to be like in a safe place, other
yeah.
than like, and then add on top of that, we're in this place where rent and is crazy, and we wouldn't have known how we were gonna get by and stuff. It would have just been a very stressful situation. But I do see the point of sort of leaving, and how would you feel? How do you feel about that idea of leaving Los Angeles and pursuing a life in Virginia?
Oh my God, I am lifelong California. Even if I came from like white trash, cabs on the desert, I mean, it boils down to the weather. Like,
Mhm.
it's so hard. And like, all my family's here, all my friends are here, but my bank account says you are a Virginia girl. My bank isn't Californian. I
Yeah.
am, but not my bank account.
No, I completely understand it, and it's hard to be an artist. Is if you don't mind, are you just a full time artist or writer or journalist?
I just do freelance writing.
Mm-hmm.
I write for a couple websites, and then yeah, that's basically how I make my income.
That's wonderful. I love that. That's so cool. And is your husband in the same sort of field as like art?
No, he's total opposite. He's like an office person. He works
Sweet.
in an office.
Yeah.
Sells office furniture, which was awkward during a pandemic when everyone was working from home.
Right.
So we're kind of like,
Right.
and he's worked remotely since the pandemic, because being cancer survivor, he really couldn't risk going
Right.
in with his immune
Absolutely.
system.
Wow. I mean, and that's the other thing too, is like you got to think about the other people who are at risk, who are highly at risk. It's like, man, it's just Cartagena, what did you say? At least we all know how a zombie apocalypse will go down, just like the movies, because nobody wants to take precautions. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Humanity. Kendra, we'd love to have you over here, but there's more people, and it's expensive, and winters suck. Oh yeah. And Cartagena is from the East Coast. So,
uh,
and we got a question from Cartagena. Who do you write for? Oh, and this is actually before you answer, and I will
okay.
actually. Why don't I let you answer? What a dick move! That is such a dick. Hold on, let me
Oh,
answer for you. Let me
go
just
ahead.
mansplain this real quick. Like, go ahead, please.
I do music interviews for Zoe magazine, that's ZO, and then magazine. So I interview about a dozen musicians a month. And then I write for an LGBTQ site. I mostly write like sexy articles. It's called Andrew Christian, which
Ooh.
is it's like, I know nothing about these things, but that's the thing of being a writer, you
Yeah.
you make it work. And then I also write for just music like reviews it's called Music and Fashion Blog.
Yeah.
Just started that one, but yeah. And then
That's
I do my podcast, and that's about it.
Yeah, and you can see we got some links in the chat, gang. Go ahead and go check out her website, and I put her podcast. I led it to her YouTube, but it's on all anywhere you get your podcast. You can find Crushgasm, and go listen to it. It's really entertaining. I want to like what was the idea behind Crushgasm, because I actually do want to talk about your your sexy writing, just because it's really interesting that. But please,
Okay.
and I'm so sorry again. But by the way, everybody, Kendra was the one who did the article on me, so that's how we met. So just so you know, and there's the article right there. So if you guys want to go read it, if you haven't had a chance to, go check it out and leave a like and a comment, and let them know that you were there. But please, I'm so sorry. Please continue.
Oh, so Crushgasm, like my husband, he's a typical white guy. He loves podcasts. That's what they're known for, the
The-
Joe Rogan, Tom Segura's. And he was like starting one with his friend that lived over on the East Coast when the pandemic started. It was just kind of like them just to like meet every week and talk about their personal lives. And then he started another one called Happened in the 90s, where it was more pop culture based. And I had been thinking like, oh, I've interviewed so many. I've been interviewing people for like 10 years,
Oh,
but it's
cool.
always email interviews. So I
Yeah.
thought, why don't I try? Like my husband can do all the editing and all that stuff,
Heck yeah.
but I know how to book guests. I know how to interview, but it was the first time people were hearing my voice. There's one episode I did. I've been talking to Claire Hawkins, this musician, for maybe 5 years, and it's the first time we ever like actually had a conversation. So I was like, well, what do I like to talk about? I love slumber parties. And what do you talk about at slumber parties? You talk about your crushes. And I thought, well, your crushes mean so much more than it's just someone you think is cute. There's so many deeper things. So I just reached out, and my goal was to reach out to a lot of different type of people, because I noticed, like, I did my research. I was like, what are these crush podcasts about? And they mostly just had women on, and they would be like straight women. So I was like, well, I want to talk to men. I want to talk to all different types of people. So that's kind of how I build up my guest list too. It's all about the diversity. I want to hear from every different type of person about their crushes.
Crushes and pillow fights.
Yeah, there. I love a good. I still my friend. I have a friend. We have wine nights, and
Ooh,
then it's our summer parties. But now that we're older and can drink, wine nights, and we
very
just
nice.
watch old boy band videos and kind of rate them and talk
Yes.
about them.
I love that. That's fun. No, it reminds me of my wife. She was very Disney oriented. Not that I'm calling you Disney oriented, because I realize that can be a kind of some people take offense to that. So
I love Disney. I grew up in the Renaissance era of
right,
Disney, 89 to 99.
hey,
But I do have a love-hate relationship with Disney, because I've talked a lot about it. I've written a lot about the like lack of diversity in
sure.
Disney. It's like you gave me Princess Tiana, and then 5 minutes later you made her a frog. So
Yeah,
it's
that was
kind of
tough.
like, hmm,
That's kind of tough.
hmm.
It's kind of
I have
tough.
a big issue with the Princess and the Frog, and my problem was they were like made a big deal about going back to 2D animation. They're like going back to the basics, guys, going back to our roots, and then they kind of like swept it under the rug, because just mere like then Tangled came out and they
Right.
went back. Tangled was huge.
Yeah.
But since Tangled, all their animation has looked like Rapunzel. It's been these big old headed women with
Right.
like bug eyes. Like, tell me, like Rapunzel and Anna and like what's her name, Elsa, don't look the same.
Mm.
That's the same character.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my love hate with Disney. Sorry,
No.
Mickey Mouse, but
No, I mean, there's no question that there's been a huge lack of representation in the Disney world, and that, that's one thing that's been really cool about these last, 10 years, I would say, maybe even longer, is that the amount of representation that we've been seeing in pop culture and how radically it's, and I don't want to use the word radically, that's terrible. But like how, and it's radical only because of how white and like, do you remember what like beauty was back in the early 2000s, whereas like,
oh,
Britney Spears and like these
it was
flat,
it was
straight
questionable.
up and down people, and it was very, very white, unless it was like rap music, and then there would be big butts and champagne and like women getting like, treated terribly and stuff. So hey, early 2000s.
Early 2000s were a wild time for everything. It was kind of like the 90s ended and it was such a great decade.
Yeah.
And then you were kind of like, I think maybe people were like, Y2K is going to end it all. And then it didn't. And we kind of just went crazy. Sorry, the thing.
Cartagena said they banned the Princess and the Frog in their household.
Because she's just a frog the whole time.
It's terrible. It's literally terrible. Like me and my wife watched it together for the first time, and she was just appalled, just absolutely appalled.
I mean, they did it again with that Soul movie that came out.
Did they really?
I was like,
I didn't get a chance to. I know, like my son and my wife, they watched it and they seemed to like it, but I fell asleep.
it was fine.
It was. Oh, they killed the guy, right?
Yeah, he dies. But spoiler, he dies pretty early on. Then he's like, he's a soul, I guess.
Right, yeah.
Name of the movie. He's a soul for most of it, and then he's like a cat, I think. I only watch it once, but yeah, he's not a human most of it.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
Wow, Disney, really way to diversify. Disney, really stepping outside of the norm here.
It was fine though. It was cute. It made you. It's one of those movies. I think it was like Wall-E, where it was like, I don't know if a kid's gonna like it. Like I like the message of it, but is a kid gonna understand it?
Maybe.
Same with Inside Out, which is a perfect movie.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Well, that was the thing all about Pixar, though, is like that these were movies that they were intentionally making for children, but they were intentionally adding in these bigger, older jokes, maybe more mature jokes. And that's sort of how they swept the market again. Disney and Pixar, they sort of swept the market again after, losing steam after their 2D renaissance and then moving into maybe, and of course I'm just looking at it from like, a kid lens and coming into it. But yeah, Disney, hey, what are you going to do? Now they own like everything. So
I know. I have such a problem with that. Because
Really?
all the movies are either Disney, Marvel, or Star Wars. But
Right.
you look again, I'm gonna go back to the 90s. Like the year Kindergarten Cop came out, it was one of the top 10 movies. A movie like that today would not even be on the radar. It'd be like a movie you find in the depths of Hulu or Netflix.
Right.
But that was like a top 10 movie. Rightfully so, it's an amazing movie. But like now it's like you have to be these big budget, like Disney, Marvel, Star Wars to even get on anybody's like list, which is disappointing. It's a lack of creativity too.
Yeah, and all these like remakes that you're seeing, like the Jungle Book and stuff, which it was fine and
Some are good.
yeah,
Some are not.
yeah, but it's like what are we even doing here? You guys are just rehashing these old crappy ideas, and which are not crappy ideas, but I'm
Well, the
saying.
Jungle Book one was good. I'll give them that. But like the Aladdin one looked like, didn't you think it looked like a porn parody of what Aladdin should have been, like the live action one? Like it was so bad. Like it's the cinematography mixed with the bad. It just was like, that was like those late night, like early 2000s Cinemax
Yeah.
when you'd be like waiting for your parents to go to sleep
Yes.
and a sneak a look.
When you say it like that, with like all the lacy stuff all around and just like the soft focus and I get what you're saying.
It's not good.
I have a problem, and it's gonna sound a little not mean, but a little, I don't know. It might sound a little off-putting, but like I'm not liking the new songs that they're adding to these old classics either. Like some of the songs are okay, but I feel like they just ruin. I don't know. They ruin the original integrity of it, and I get it. They're trying to like include like, a nice message for women, like in Lion King and in Aladdin. They added new songs where girls get it done, that whole thing, which is great. I'm not against that in any way. But there is sort of this original integrity that sort of took me completely out of it, and I'm just like, what is this? Why they're adding songs? They're not only rehashing this idea, but they're adding songs and ruining my childhood. Because yes, I've gotten sick of Disney now, but there was a time, like a lot of people, where Disney was the ish. I mean, like I was Little Mermaid, you know, and the original Aladdin, and and the other ones. They were all it was good stuff, and it was a big part of my a lot of people's coming up. So when I see that, I don't know. What do you think of that? Do I sound like a misogynist? Am I an asshole now? Am
No,
I a
it's
misogynist?
there's
I'm a
there was a
misogynist.
debate online because the trailer for Amazon Cinderella with Camila Cabello is going to come out, and it was just like, do we need it? First of all, do we need another Cinderella? No. Secondly, they call it the girl bossification of
Yes.
movies. So she's not looking for a prince. She's looking to start a fashion line or something. That's why she
Mm,
wants to go to the ball. She wants them to see her fashion.
I see.
And then like right when the trailer started, I already hate the live action remakes. All right. So I go into the trailer and I was watching it and I was like, all right. And then they start with Rhythm Nation, Janet Jack doing a Glee version of that. So already I'm like, no, no. And then it's like she wants to be a fashion. She's like, and then James Corden, when they turned the mice into people, there where he was that little fat mouse, and I was like, no, no, James Corden, no. But
um,
yeah, there's this girl bossification. It's like it's good if it fits the story, but I think you can't force a good like I don't know. It seems forceful in some ways. Like if I'm
yes.
watching a princess, like if I'm watching Aladdin, I want to see the original version. I don't need Jasmine to go on and start an empire. I just want to see them flying on the kite and like doing the stuff
Yeah.
or the carpet.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I feel that, and it's there is something about sort of this movement, the representation that's been coming that I love it. Absolutely love it. I mean, as sentences started like this, I know can cause cringes in some rooms, but like as a Mexican coming up, I fucking love Selena. Like, and there wasn't a lot of representation, and when Selena came out, I mean, because my mom, like, she just was always playing Selena, and like my mom comes from like the Vicente Fernando era of music. So like but she absolutely loves Selena, and so it was a huge part of our life, and it was just such a cool thing to see, especially in the mid '90s, where you know what, Cartagena, don't bring that half Mexican shit in here.
It's okay. I'm a quarter Spanish, but we represent.
Hey, watch out. But yeah, Cartagena's Puerto Rican, so he likes to give me shit. He likes to give me shit. But and by the way, Moving Dutchman, welcome in. We're talking to Kendra BEltran, and hi everybody. My name is Mike, and this is my podcast. Sometimes we do live music jams and stuff, and all that good stuff. So right now we're talking to Kendra. And I have a song for you, Moving Dutchman, as soon as we get done with these thoughts, which is that I really enjoy seeing the representation, but I also see like companies like Amazon, who definitely mistreat their like largely minority workers like garbage, and then they go on and have like their BLM month and stuff like that on there.
Oh yeah.
And so like there's
Black
this.
Voices on Prime. That's what it's called.
Yeah, exactly,
Black
exactly.
Voices.
And again, I'm not against this. I think it's wonderful, and I think it's great. I think people should hear different sides of the story, but I also think that there's this sort of hypocrisy that's coming with these companies, especially when you look at companies like Boss, who is like directly getting their cotton from cotton that's picked from the Uyghur slaves in China, and then are like loving China for that, and then they want to tout Black Lives Matter while they're buying cotton. The irony is awful, but
Yeah.
it's like what the so there is a little bit of Moving Dutchman with the Mexican shit again. But it's like I don't know. What's your thoughts on that? And I don't want to sound like a asshole here, but it sticks out to me, and this is I don't know.
Yeah, it's I mean everything's performative
Yeah.
in any company. I mean they're gonna put like their BLM in February, and then when it's Mexican American month, they're gonna pop out like a Mexican person in the front lines and be like, look it, she's so happy here. Then they do it for every month, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah. No.
But Going back to Selena,
Please.
is that your favorite like biopic? Don't know how to say it.
I would say it's probably one of my favorites, and and that's where, of course, I fell in love with J Lo, and who I still like a lot. Waiting for tonight. Oh, I love that song so much. But it's yeah. I mean, it's probably one of my favorites besides like the Benny Goodman story or like the Gene Krupa story, which is about big band leaders from back in the day. But La Bamba, yeah, La Bamba was awesome too.
Okay.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
like my mom is like
Richie!
Spanish. My mom's Spanish and white. And
Okay.
I think like we didn't grow up with like a lot of our own culture. Like my
Mhm.
dad is black and he just wasn't around as much. So I think she used like pop culture to teach us our heritage. So she would make me watch La Bamba all the time. And then she was like, all right, that's done. Let's watch Boys in the Hood. And so I was like,
Wow.
those so but and another big Mexican one is Blood In, Blood Out. I
Oh
feel
my
like you're
God,
any
yes.
if you are any type of brown, your parents were like, we're watching Blood In,
Watching
Blood Out right now.
Yeah, that was good stuff. Wow. It's like it's like, what is it? Bend over, give me two good coughs, right? That's how it starts in the prison.
I just remember the little brother dying of the
Yeah, yeah.
heroin overdose or whatever it
Yeah.
was. I was just like, oh my
It's an
God.
intense movie. It's an intense. And so is Boys in the Hood though. Like Boys in the Hood is like, as a kid watching that, you're just like, what? And like
There's
when they
a blowjob. Like, it's
but there is that part though, or maybe it's Menace to Society. Maybe I'm mixing shit up. I'm a little embarrassed. I might be mixing shit up. Where it's Vatos Locos Forever. But there's the scene where the kid holds up a store and he like shoots the guy, and then he steals the tape so he can show it to his friends, and they rewind it and play it back and forth, and they're laughing. And I just thought,
not, I don't think that's
okay,
boys.
I'm getting stuff mixed up. Wow, aren't I an asshole? Okay, yeah. Sorry about that, everyone.
I just remember like Ice Cube's character like
Yeah,
goes to
Ice
jail
Cube's
when they're
in.
little, and then like they're gonna have the party, and like Lawrence Fishburne's like
Okay.
super hot dad.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
totally wrong movie. Holy shit. Wow, Mike. Wow, way to go. You're awesome. You're really doing good today. Hey, bud. Okay, let's get a raid song for these guys, and then we'll get back into it because I'm interested in your biopic too, because now that you started this, but we got to do our raid song for Moving Dutchman. Moving Dutchman, this is for you, my friend, and thank you for bringing your community over, and I appreciate you, my friend, and you know all your love and stuff. So hold on, let me find the thingy here. All right, boom. Not hype train. It's a raid song. All right, here we go, everybody. Moving Dutchman, you know how much I love you, buddy. It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos. No need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. It's raining tacos. Out in the streets, tacos. All you can eat. Lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining tacos. Yum, yum, yummity yum. It's like a dream. Yum, yum, yummity yum. More sour cream. Oh my God, cream. It's raining tacos. Ooh, tacos. Ooh, tacos. Ooh, it's raining tacos. Well, it's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos. No need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. Oh my God. Are you serious, Pizza Jams? You want a melodica solo? All right, we're gonna get this melodica solo out of the way so we can get back to the conversation. Just give me 1 second. Kendra, I know that this is, you probably weren't expecting this, but welcome to the show. All right, here we go. Quick melodica solo for for Pizza Jams. Here we go. Uh-oh, nope. There you go, Pizza Jams. Thank you for using your points for that. I'm just glad that you guys don't have enough points for other things. So kill that. We'll bring our guest back. So yeah, I don't know. J-Lo. Oh, thank you, thank you very much. That's a thing. In what way? Just by being around more black people if they grew up in a white neighborhood? When I started, oh, here we go. We're going. We're in it. Let's see. Carter G, what'd you say? When I started college at Howard, half the kids went to an HBCU to connect with their roots. And then let me see. Script Queen says, in what way? Just by being around more black people if they grew up in a white neighborhood? Carter G says yes. And by taking in the culture at the school. I never felt that urge. I felt my parents passed down their culture well enough. Fair enough. Script Queen, welcome in. Oh, I already said hi to you, but yeah. There you go. You guys are talking. I'm gonna get back to the biopic, but yeah, J-Lo was like one of those things that hey baby, what's up? Which charger? Yeah, I'm sorry, my wife just walked in. She's looking for chargers. Hold on. Here, you can have this one. Oh yes. You're like J-Lo, come back, J-Lo. Yeah. So J-Lo, that was a thing that I really dug, and we were kind of talking about representation and the lack of it in the '90s, and as a young kid who grew up with my mom and dad, but my mom, I was really close to my mom's side of the family. And that happened to be Mexican, and it was just the culture was there, and I thought it was a beautiful thing, and so that was one of the reasons, and I brought that up the other day as well, is like how that movie was like a very big, impactful movie. I cried at the end, and it was just like
like as soon as that rose drops, you're like, oh, here we go.
Over.
Here we go, Yolanda. Public enemy number one.
Oh my God.
Here.
Oh my God. Hold on. No, that was the wrong one. Yolanda. Hold on. Let me get this better. Yolanda. All right. No, okay. Enough of that. But yes, yeah. So that was a big part of what me growing up. But please, what was your biopic that really sticks out for you?
So I do think Selena is the perfect one.
Wow.
It's perfectly balanced, but I have to give it up for the Straight Outta Compton.
Oh.
I thought that was the casting was beautiful.
I love that they had Ice Cube's son.
The casting alone, but the story, like, even though I knew Eazy-E wasn't gonna make it at the end, I was still like in tears. And I'm not a big like hip hop fan at all. I'm a more of an appreciator of it than I am a fan of it. And I was just like, this is just amazing story. I loved every second of it. I was so upset it did not get a lot of like accolades like during awards season. I was really shocked it didn't. But also like there's those two I love, but then there's like that Michael Jackson 5 one that used to be on VH1.
Oh, yeah, I do remember.
And it would take up like 5 hours.
It was
that
so
one
long.
I hated.
there's
5 hours of TV, just this damn story.
Well, yeah, and you know what? They did such a long thing where they actually were able to sort of go into how he got into the body dysmorphia and how he's like
so much.
Where they
too much.
Right. And it's just, I don't know, like I couldn't get through it myself, but it was always on, and it just took up the entire day. So,
but I will, and also the Lifetime movies that are like, like you talk about NWA being beautifully cast. Lifetime just like casts whoever shows up.
Yeah.
Because like I watch those for the comedy. They are so amazing in that regard. Yeah. The Aaliyah story, where they had R. Kelly, and it was just like you could see the bald cap kind of coming. It was just it was wonderful.
Yeah,
so horribly wonderful.
But you gotta love those bad bad movies are just so fun to watch. Just you gotta give it up to the bad movie. How about the New Edition movie? Did you watch
I didn't catch that one. I'm hoping to go back and watch. I need to see the Wendy Williams one as well.
Oh,
that
man, I didn't even know.
Ridiculous.
You know what looks really good, honestly, is the new Venus and Serena movie. Like,
Yeah, that does look. I mean, they have such a cool story too.
yeah.
So it's like their dad didn't even like play, I think, but he was able to teach them to be like the greatest goddamn players ever.
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh geez, that was so bad. I watched it because I heard it was a train wreck. How could
The
they
Miss-
butcher the casting for Missy Elliott?
Yeah, that was bad. I was like the Missy one was like, ooh.
I did.
It's just like I want to know what it's like in their casting department. Like it'd be a dream to be a fly on the wall and they just like throw darts at pictures, the headshots.
Yeah,
Like
that one. That'll do.
and if they ever did like a Michael Jordan, the guy would end up looking like Larry Bird. It was, I don't care. It's like,
Yeah, whatever works. Get it out. Get it out. Yeah, Billie Holiday versus US was really good. I really enjoyed that. Did you get a chance to watch that one with Andre Day?
no.
Yeah.
Didn't see that one.
It was incredible. It was incredible. Yeah, no, so you think J Lo was you? Or, I'm sorry, you think the Selena one is your favorite as well?
I think it's perfect. It's just like
can
the
feel it.
story. It's just a great. I mean, you know how it's going to end, but you're still enthralled with every second. I think they paced it well. I don't like when we spend too much time in an era of their life that maybe kind of we didn't need, like their childhood. Like we saw the key points. We saw
Right.
her doing the washing machine. We saw him do that little show, but then we sped it up, and it's beautiful. This is perfect. The casting was a little off there. Then I watched the VH1 behind the music later,
Yeah.
and I was like, they didn't. Chris wasn't looking like that,
Yeah,
but
Chris
okay.
was a little bit more doughy. Yeah, Chris wasn't this long-haired, beautiful person. He was a little doughy, right? A little doughy, and a little squatty, a little whatever. You know, we come in all sizes.
I saw Edward. I went to Comic-Con one time in my life in San
Nice.
Diego, and I was when that like the height of my Big Bang Theory obsession. And they were I got into that big hall H or whatever, and they were like, if you leave, you have to tell them and blah blah blah. So I just sat in my seat, and then Big Bang was maybe like 2 panels away, and I was like, all right, I'm in, and it was like whatever that show, that like whatever like sci-fi show that Edward James Olmos is on, he was gonna be there, and I was like, oh my god, it's Selena's dad! Like I was the only person that's probably like, oh my god, Gusti La Caca. So I was like, oh my god, Selena.
Yeah, well, I mean, there you go. I mean, making impacts, right? Making impact. They couldn't even get permission to play Aaliyah's actual songs. They just had to play R&B versions of public domain songs.
There's a lot of back and forth with Aaliyah's estate. I think they're just about to put him on streaming. I think they finally settled that.
Wow. Well, it's a shame. I think it's a shame when when an artist dies and that the estate sort of implodes on itself, and it's always like this weird mad dash, and then we have these like posthumous albums that they never approved of or put their seal of approval on that just come out, and now we accept it, and then you're supposed to accept this as new music, and I don't know, like Prince just came out with a new album, and
what?
yeah, he came out with a new album. I forgot what it's called, but
dropping that. You mentioned sexy R&B earlier. There you go.
Hey, watch out! No, I love sexy R&B, but Prince. I mean, I absolutely love Prince, but Prince was Prince was he didn't have like full album listenability. Like not all of his albums were like super play through jams. There's a couple. I won't say all, but like he made so much music, and it varied in styles so much that it's not all the best, but the things that he got right were so right. You know what I mean? Like they were just so right. But this new album has like I think it's called Born to Die. It's super slow jam.
What a horrible name.
The whole album is like getting back. What is the name of the album? It's like, so like it focuses on like cultural issues, like the race issues going on right now, which is interesting. Like that his estate decided to put out something and sort of have it around what's going on right now. Let's see, what's the new Prince album called? I'm a slow typer. Welcome to America. So the name of the album is called Welcome to America, and has some stuff on it, that might be politically charged. I just thought it was interesting that the estate decided to go this way, and it's always weird to me. Prince is as good as he is bad, aka hit or miss. I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
This is it was horror. Oh yeah, this is it. Did you listen to This Is It, or did you watch the movie at all?
Is that the Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
No.
Oh man. Well, it's honestly it was honestly a really sad movie. Like,
Really?
well, just because like they showed him and how intoxicated he was all the time. Like you could literally see he was always in a cloud, and like he was never he was never back to what we remember as Michael in his prime. I mean, even as
Yeah.
Michael aged, he still had the moves. But even at 50, he was just it was really like he moved very sluggish, and he was just so out of it, and it was just a very sad movie. Are you were you not a fan of Michael Jackson at all? I was just
No, like I like his music's great, but it's like I just didn't see it.
Oh,
I
really?
had no interest. I've seen those like documentaries about, all the allegations for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, for his music, and obviously when he died, oh my God, that stopped the world.
Yeah.
It was
It
just
did.
like I remember I was gonna go see Finch at the Glass House in Pomona, shout out. And that night, and I was getting out of the shower, and I was like that Twitter, and I was like, oh my God. And my family, we were just like, I remember watching the funeral, and it was the crazy. And I tried to think like, oh, what other artist or entertainer could die and it really impact the world like that? Like, love or hate him, you can't deny what he was to music.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, oh, and then Kobe passed. I feel like that was somebody that stopped the world too,
Yeah,
which was
absolutely.
insane.
And then you see the documentaries about his allegations, and then
Yeah. But it's like separate the art and this. I think you could separate art from artistry in many
Yeah.
occasions sometimes.
Can you? Well, I was just talking about this in the Discord the other day, actually, and Script Queen was in there, and Cathosaurus and Reina was in there, and we were all talking about it. Was like, well, if you write R. Kelly out of the picture, then you're writing out, songs by Janet Jackson. What was it, Casey and JoJo? Did I get that wrong? I mean, like, he has all these hit songs with all these different artists, and so if you're gonna go through and write off R. Kelly, then you gotta write off, "Anytime" by Janet Jackson, and I can't remember all the ones they were just naming it, but still, it was like, there's so much to the art that goes beyond the artist that
Mhm.
writing off their whole art. Oh my. Gremlin Lucy, thank you so much. Oh, Mighty, thank you so much for subbing Gremlin Lucy. I appreciate that. Let me get you some love, Mighty. So yeah, shit, what were we talking about? Damn it, that's what
Writing
happens.
artists off.
I don't know where you're able to write. Is there artists that you have no choice, where you're just like, I just can't get past this?
Hmm. I don't think so. It's kind of like if I love them, I'm still gonna listen. There's nobody that I've loved that's kind of crossed over into that.
Yeah.
I love what the Cosby Show did for TV. I'm a big fan of television, but I didn't watch it. So to never watch it again is not gonna impact me or anything like that. But yeah, like I love New Found Glory, and they had a member that was doing some things and got kicked out, and I still listen to the music.
Right. What was the dude doing?
There was allegations, what is that Snapchat roulette thingy,
Oh,
roulette
yeah.
chatty, and underage and things like that.
Yes. Ooh,
Saving photos and everything. I remember it was like middle of the night. The band announced they're like, he's no longer in the band. No explanation. And I said for years I was like, that guy. Every time I went and saw him, I told my friends like, that's creepy vibes. He gives me creepy vibes. And then right when I was like, I bet you this is what it is. I bet you, and I was right.
Wow.
So people trust my vibes.
Mighty. Another sub. Thank you so much for those gifted subs. You're too kind. Thank you so much, Mighty. I hope you're doing well today. Yeah, what instrument did dude play in New Found Glory?
I think he played guitar.
Okay, so he's a creepy guitarist just over there doing his creeper moves.
It's creepy. It's creepy. But unfortunately, he wrote the lot of the best of
Wow,
their songs.
wow,
So if you listen to them post him leaving the band, you can tell.
wow, that's really interesting. And it's like when it hits bands like that, when it hits a band, I remember before sort of this cancel culture thing really became huge, which someone explained to me the other day, which made a lot of sense. The cancel culture has always been a part of our culture. I mean, even McCarthyism and stuff like that. But the oh my God, I am just terrible today. Like I'm literally forgetting what I'm saying in the middle of this. I'm sorry. What were we just talking about? This is so awful.
Cancel culture.
That's always been a thing, but there was something else with it. Who were we just talking about?
We had R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, Michael, bands.
Bands. Yeah. Well, with a band. Oh, yes, I remember. Well, back there was the bassist for Fish was caught and was beaten up, and I don't know how big of a Fish fan you are. You can never tell. Apparently, the press secretary for Donald Trump is a huge Fish fan. So, who would have known? But like he got trouble doing some underage photos and some Hell's
Whoa.
Angels guys. But that's like the band sort of absorbed it because there wasn't this movement towards eliminating that kind of toxicity out of the public eye. So it wasn't so prevalent then. So he sort of made it through, and it's interesting to see people who made it through. Like Reina just mentioned, Chris Brown. Chris Brown made it through, and Anthony Kiedis, which he just writes in his book that he's having sex with 14-year-old models. I mean, it's in his book. It's in his book that he's just out there hitting it. Like, what the fuck? Bro, calm down. Like, and he wrote the book before the whole Me Too movement, and if that book
he slid under the radar.
slid under the radar. And so it's like, whew, yeah, it's I don't know, but yeah, Chris Brown, he definitely made it through, and that one was pretty hard too, right? That was a pretty hard one to get past.
It was rough.
Yeah.
It was like,
Are you a fan of Chris Brown at all?
no. I mean, he has like good songs, but I'm not like gonna go see him or anything.
Yeah, me neither. I don't. I like his Indigo album, but like I don't know. It's just I have no desire to go see him, and it's not because he's a woman beater, but it's because because it's just I'm not interested. You completely wrote off Kanye. Well, I would love to hear your take on Kanye West. What's your take on Kanye?
Kanye's he's a good artist, I guess, but he's just not for me. I went and since I live in LA, when times were normal, I would go to Jimmy Kimmel Live all the time because his outdoor guests just perform in the parking lot in the back of the studio. And that's like Kanye for free. I've seen so many artists back there. It was a good performance. I'm not denying he's a good artist, but he's cuckoo crazy. I think he definitely needs help. And I just think he's at a point in his life where who's going to tell him what to do?
Right.
We've let him get too big for his britches.
Right.
And when like you look at them and you're like siding with Kim Kardashian, you're like, something's gone wrong.
The world has gone awry.
Yeah. You're like, I'm for a Kardashian. I'm worried about her.
Yeah, he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and when you hear him talk, and especially in long form, like I watched the interview he did with Joe Rogan, and like it really is revealing on how like he was pretty reined in for that conversation, but it was still like he's just like one lyric away from becoming unhinged, like he's just it's really strange. But I absolutely loved his gospel album. I thought it was amazing. That was like I love gospel music. I'm not the most like Christian guy in the world or anything, but like just that music touches me, and like the fact that he took it and sort of did the Kanye and recreated it in his image, and I just really respected that. So I don't know, I still love Kanye as an artist, but man, his mental illness is a little off the charts.
Yeah, he just like hopefully gets some help. because it would be like, it's a shame when people are like that creative and they just like kind of don't see that they need the help. They're just like, no, 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 it's my artistry, it's my artistry, and then they go crazy. And then you're like, what is that guy Howard Hughes? Or you're like locked in a house, and you're like,
Peeing in bottles.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you don't want to ever get to that point.
Yeah, I hope he gets help too. It was fairly obvious for me that he had some issues, so I mostly regard his behavior as untreated mental illness.
Well,
Yeah.
did you ever see the clip of him when they gave the Kardashian momish talk show, Kris Jenner, and she was on there and she had Kanye because, it's her son-in-law. And
Right.
he's like, ha ha ha. And he just like gets really, it's just like a weird clip. It's like a popular GIF.
Oh,
And you're just like, that's creepy.
it is, and it's like, I mean, like if that's not an act, which I don't think it's an act, because you can do that, and I've seen people act like that, and just sort of giving a creepy vibe out or whatever, just like, ha ha, ha, just make a point, maybe that something's not funny, but like that, comes off legit, and it's like it's really hard to fake. Because you can see, I mean, there's good actors out there, but it's like, it's pretty obvious when people are uncomfortable, if you're watching for it, or if people are like acting outside of what we're used to or what we think is normal.
Mhm.
And so it seems very obvious, just the way he talks and his movements and stuff, that he needs help. And that's fine. I mean, just as much as our president probably needs to rest and like, get some rest and maybe get some treatment for Alzheimer's. I don't know, like it just seems fairly obvious sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like it just seems obvious sometimes. But I think Kanye is so talented. He will need to do something horrible to another person in order to not have people want his art. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I agree with you. He probably is gonna have to do something really horrible to get. I thought the whole Trump thing was like I thought that would have ended it for him. I don't know, like that seemed really weird. Not that I'm a Trump supporter or anything. I know I just shit on Biden, but like I voted for him, so just so everyone knows where I stand.
My third, fourth choice,
Yeah,
but he was there.
He was there, and it wasn't the other guy. So
Yeah.
just so you guys know where I'm coming from. Not like I'm not just gonna sit here and shit on Biden and not tell you why. It's only because I don't like him, but it was only because he wasn't the other one. So, anyways, moving on. But yeah, I don't know. Kanye is Kanye, but I definitely think that he's not someone that should be just written off. But I don't know. How did you feel about when you saw him with Trump and stuff? Was that like, yeah, I mean, were you just like, whatever, he's just mentally out of it?
I think he goes where there's the most attention.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Who knows? Like, I mean, I can't say what his political beliefs are, but it seems like he'd flip it and he'd flip like a switch if whoever was more had the spotlight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like he's rich, so it's like who cares who's in office when you're rich?
Right.
It's like
Right.
when it's like you can fight for this and fight for that, but it's like at the end of the day, damn, you're making money, so it's like you don't care what happens to us,
Right.
us
Yeah.
commoners, the peasants.
Yeah, the peasants. No, and then could you imagine Kanye West as president? Like, I don't know.
God, that was just a waste of time.
Yeah.
It's like Caitlyn Jenner over here trying to run for governor.
That's a little weird too.
Doesn't she has like didn't she like kill somebody on like PCH?
did.
It was like,
Yeah, and she's like against gay marriage.
that's the most ridiculous thing. It's like, I think like we learn when we're little, it's like, what do you need to do to be president? You need to be 35 and you need to be a citizen. It's like, why aren't there like a class? Like, I swear you do more training to work in fast food than there are qualifications to be president. And that's the biggest problem. It's like, you're just letting anybody with money run. It's like, if I apply anywhere, I got to submit resume, cover letter, background check. Politicians do none of that.
Yeah.
They're just like, I have money, put my name on this ticket.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah.
it's insane.
I got
That's why
money.
you get so many crazies up there, like that lady from Atlanta.
I got money, I'll treat you right. Yeah. Wait. Are we talking about Andrew Yang or Kanye? Hey, I like Yang Gang. I was Yang Gang. That's me. Yang Gang or Who was Tulsi Gabbard? I really enjoyed Tulsi Gabbard. I really thought she had a lot to say, especially about ending these foreign wars that were just overthrowing governments for resources. Like the fact that she was saying that on national TV and running on that platform, it was such a huge thing. But I'm not trying to go there at all. But there was so many better options than the one we ended up with, and I just.
Yeah. And you had to get a D-lister, but he's there. He's
D-lister.
Trying. He's trying.
Actually, they do background checks, but I agree. Money talks. How much of a background check? Because I'm pretty sure there was some allegations against some of these fools that made it right into office. So I don't know how much of a background check they're doing. Yeah, Yang Tulsi ticket would have been ideal. Yeah, man. Yeah, I just. But whatever. This whole system is owned and operated as a corporation. So what are we gonna do? But yeah, the thing about Kanye is too. I think that adds to his genius is that he is that people forget that he is actually a marketing genius, and that he that when you look at these stunts, and you can call them stunts or you can call them what actually happened, but you see him behind these stunts like Jay-Z and Beyonce selling records about somebody getting cheated on. Did that happen? I don't know. But did they sell a bunch of records? Yeah, they certainly did. And like the rap Illuminati, all that stuff. I mean, it's that coming out of that camp of just marketing, I think is absolutely genius. And so I almost feel like Kanye West likes to get himself in positions and see if he can like climb out of them, like I wonder if I went and supported Trump, I wonder if people would still love me at the end of the day.
Like he's like testing the limits.
Yes, yeah. I mean, because when you're rewarded for acting and creating these kind of publicity stunts, then why wouldn't you think that you could get through anything? When you're rewarded so well, like he was paid so much money and made so much money off of all these things that he's done in the past, why wouldn't he continue to be like, yeah, and this is gonna work? And it did. I mean, it brought lots of attention to Kanye West. It split some motherfuckers up, but like if you're a Kanye fan, like through and through, you still like Kanye, and I still love Kanye. I don't agree with what he says, but again, we're killing the author, we're separating the art from the artist, and I think that's the healthy way to look at it, honestly, because again, if we're gonna write somebody off, if we're gonna write someone's art off because of some things they did, then we got a lot of artists to go write off.
Yeah, there's not going to be anything to enjoy.
But
one song.
Yeah, one sad little song. But talking about mental health and stuff. I mean, like what did you think about this whole Free Britney movement and what's going on with that?
Oh my God, it's so sad when you like.
Absolutely.
I'm a big Backstreet Boy fan, and AJ was doing a podcast, and he said he ran into her, and they were big at the same time. They know who each other are, and she kind of just looked at him, was like, huh, oh hi, and he's just like, it's kind of like a shell of a person.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy that her family used her and her talents, and then we're kind of just like as a puppet. And I hope her all the best. I hope she gets out from under them. It's just sad.
Yeah, I absolutely,
because South Park, they touched on Britney long ago.
Yeah.
long
And that
time
was
ago
rough.
about
They
that.
were rough on her too, I'm still trying to find dirt on the dude that did Pop Goes the Weasel. Pop Goes the Weasel.
Cancel that one.
Did he get canceled? Yeah, we'll cancel him. We're gonna cancel him. You know what? He's canceled. There he is. Canceled. Yeah, I ran them for all House of Delegates in my state. I no longer work in politics. They turn a blind eye for things they won't let others get homes for. Maybe you guys are in a different conversation. I don't know. We're going at that's really important. You got to discount like 80% of the artists for before the 1980s if you apply modern standards to them. Yeah, I mean when you listen to the stories about Led Zeppelin, right? Like, I mean, just I don't know how much of Led Zeppelin you are, but
But Dave Chappelle, he said something really interesting about all that. He said, you can't look at a picture and be mad about it. It's like that's a stamp in time. It's like we
Mm-hmm.
can't go back in history and be like mad that Led Zeppelin maybe let some underage girls in. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying they did, but
Right.
like it was just a different time, you know,
Yes.
and it's like we can't go back. Let's just move forward with it
Mm-hmm.
and try to just better ourselves that hopefully we won't have people sending unsolicited dick pics or masturbating on the phone, Louis C.K. You know, moving just hopefully these stories can be cautionary tales to just move forward and be better.
Yeah.
But
No.
just don't look back because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of problems there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what it was then. It's like, look at ancient times. They were like in bathhouses and
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
it's
Sure.
just like, and they were like, wasn't like in Egypt, they were like 14 and shit.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Well, no, I mean even here in America, like 12 and 13-year-old was when they were wed. That was like the time to go. Oh, they're right. They're bleeding. They're bleeding. Let's go. Let's go. You know, like so, you
mm-hmm.
know, underage or I mean underage now, but then it was like this is fertility. Maybe life was shorter, so we had to act
Yeah.
quicker and you know, we had to get this done. We got shit to do. I'm going to die
Yeah.
in like
We're
10
gonna
years,
die by
bro.
35. We
Yes.
gotta
So I gotta get some babies and some seeds out there before my whole legacy goes under. So you know there is different ideas for different times and
we
you
can
know
only move forward as better people.
yes and that's one of the things that you know that I do like about these movements, you know, like the woke and Me Too and stuff, is that it is forcing people to stop and be mindful about what they're saying, what they're doing. And there's nothing wrong with mindfulness, right? Like there's nothing wrong with stopping and just being aware that you're talking to people and you're going through life and doing things and your actions can affect other people. You know, and there's a whole nother side of that, of course, that maybe it goes a little too far, but you know, but with the Louis C.K. thing, I was just thinking about that this morning, and like he's coming to Detroit soon, and so is Dave Chappelle, and my wife was like, we can either go to Dave Chappelle or we can go to Louis C.K. And because I still am a fan of Louis C.K., I think what he did was abhorrent. I don't think that anybody should go to work one day and just have some like creepy redhead fucking jerking off at them. I
Made
think
it much worse that he was a redhead.
yeah, it does. It really does. And then
Like, ugh.
dude, I was in it like I was like thinking about the Dave Chappelle bit that he did on him and what he's like his semen ran down his phallic penis as it flowed over his red pubis like lava. And I'm just like, oh, they just the whole description, which I did not need to redo, but still, it was very funny, but just terrible. It was just, you know, like what he did, I'm just not supportive of, but I am such a fan of like his outlooks and the way he, you know, makes fun of certain ideas and whatever. I'm still a fan of his comedy. It's just like, damn, Louis, you didn't have to do all that. Everyone sees what they can get away with. There will always be people that push boundaries. No biggie. I'm already exhausted. Wait a second. It was the same conversation. You asked how deep they actually look into politicians. Oh, I see. No biggie. I'm already exhausted from sharing. No worries. Yeah, I mean, they do background checks, but I mean, unfortunately, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, just not a fan of redheads. I actually see this. I actually see his racism as integral to his work. In fact, in the fact that it is fuels his fear of the unknown. He is being very honest about the deep fears that fuel his racism. So I can appreciate that. Man, I feel like I'm missing the conversation. H.P. Lovecraft's work and his a vocal racist. Oh, I see. You're talking about H.P. Lovecraft. Okay. Yeah, it's a different take than we see these days. And it's also important to view his life in context. He was essentially a desperate artist in the depths of poverty, and I think he used race as a way to elevate himself above his own insecurities by devaluing other humans based on inherent qualities. I'm a gorgeous ginger. I even have a soul. Oh, your response. Warrior, thank you so much for being here. It's good to see you. Anyways, but like with Britney, you know, like I love that story of that brought all this on. Are you aware of how this all started? How the Free Britney movement started?
No.
It was these two podcasters that used to do they did a show about Britney Spears, and I can't remember I can't remember how far they went into it, but then they started getting on this thing where they were deconstructing her Instagram videos, and they were starting to get really deep into it because they were thinking that she was sending messages, secret messages within her Instagram messages. Turns out they were right, and so these two podcasters sort of broke the story and start just by podcasting about it, and it sort of got traction and the internet and so like it caused enough of a ruckus to where the online community and supporters of Britney were like free Britney and hashtag is born. But it's really awesome that that's how fan interaction can sort of help and get involved in sort of making movements and pushing movements forward. It's really cool. And but I think you're right. I think that she's also is, you were saying that story of how she's sort of listless and just sort of out of it, and now what she's doing, what is really interesting is that she has like her boobs are out on her Instagram. I don't know. Do you follow Britney Spears? I follow Britney Spears.
Well, I do. Yeah, it's like she's just trying to own herself.
Right,
And I think
right.
for the first time in a long time, she's hasn't had that. And that's a
Exactly.
big part of who we are as people. If you can't own yourself, it's like if you've been a puppet for so long. I mean, she was on Mickey Mouse Club at what, like 11?
Yeah, her whole
So
life.
for over 2 decades, somebody's been pulling her strings, and now she's kind of like cut, cut, cut.
And she's going up, and I'm not
girl.
I'm not I'm not judging at all. I love Britney and whatever. Do you, Britney? I'm not hating, but I am hoping the best for her in the way of mental health treatment, and like K-Fed. I'm hoping that the new guy isn't just trying to use her, and I hope that she doesn't give her power up to this dude. And she's all Catholic now, which again I'm not hating, but all of a sudden she's Catholic going to it's just I get it. I'm not judging at all. I only hope the best for her, and I just hope that I don't know, how does that fall on your ears? Alcoholism is not a sin. No, it's not.
Oh no, alcoholism.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Yeah, I just think just wish her the best, and hopefully she gets the help she needs. And again, hopefully she's not in a K-Fed situation, because that guy is wild. Such that girl. Hopefully her taste in men has matured, as the years have gone.
Yeah, free the nipple, baby. Fuck the view that a woman's chest is somehow more sexual than a man's and should be censored. I don't, how do you feel about that? Do you think the nipple should be free?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
just nipples. It's just why? Especially like when you think about like you can wear a bathing suit in public, but as soon as it's a bra and panties, it's like a misdemeanor or whatever. It's like a whole other problem. But
Right.
like I live in Long Beach, about 2 blocks from the beach, and you see the wildest outfits out there. But
yeah, I love it. That's
just
what I loved about
skin.
Southern California, though, is like the freedom of that, like how free people could be because of weather permitting, but also that very like just very sexual expression. I mean, like coming from the Midwest, this is a very repressed, very Christian thing, and going out west, mountains, oceans, weather, beautiful
all.
people, and it's such a just a culture shock. But yeah, it is stupid. It is like why are we doing this? Why are we still caring about nipples? Like there is way more things to be concerned about this world than nipples. But the children. The
children got nipples too.
Yeah.
It's not like they suddenly grow them in puberty.
Right. It's like I
They're
was
there.
like boing boing. Mom, what are these? Weather permitting, yes. It used to also be taboo for men to be bare chested. They had their own free the nipple movement like 100 years ago. Oh, look at that. We got that accomplished, didn't we? Very mobile, us
course.
men.
Of course,
Very
the
mobile.
men looked out for themselves.
Oh, yeah. Like I got to show off my massive pecs so I can get laid more. But that woman better not, or else she's a whore. Let's see. Always bothers me. I truly don't understand the attitude of boobs equals sex. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I like boobs. I'm a dude. I'm not, I'm not trying to be gross or anything, but like to deny my natural urges. I'm not. I don't know why dudes like balls of fat wrapped in skin with a little Hershey's little thing at the end there. But what do you want from me? I don't know. This is how I'm built. We all love boobs, Mike. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Uh, yeah. We have a question from Cartagena. He wants to know, what is your favorite thing to write about, or things plural?
Recently, I've been doing, so I also forgot about, I write for a site called Cosplay Central.
Eh?
So it's all about, I don't cosplay. So
Mm.
another thing I appreciate, but I don't do it. But I kind of interview them about, like, I've done, because I found it interesting, like a lot of Black people love anime. And
Mm-hmm.
so I
Yeah.
interviewed some Black cosplayers about their love of it and just found out more about it. I do. And then I wanted to bring more POC. So I've like interviewed Indigenous cosplayers, stuff like
Oh,
that. But
dope.
recently, at Blurred Con, Black Nerd Con, they had a
Amazing.
cosplay contest and a white woman won. And it caused a lot of like conversation, like should she have even entered, what was
Mm-hmm.
that? So I talked to a couple of cosplayers recently. I just like to talk about race and
Mm-hmm.
pop culture because
Yeah.
it's something like growing up in the 90s as like a mixed Black person, it was hard to see, first of all, mixed people in,
Yeah.
on the media, and then Black as well. So I like talking about race and pop culture and how that kind of defines our lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, show.
Which I think you do really gracefully, honestly. I mean, because it is hand in hand, I think. And we were talking about representation and how important I think it is. And, there was a point that Script Queen made where she was taught her culture through the family, which I do think is important as well. It's like family, like my mom passed down this information. Although my mom was very, she didn't like talking about her past too much, and I
Mm-hmm.
understand why. It was rough. She's an immigrant. She came from Mexico. Her father was in the fields and marched with Cesar Chavez and shit. So like there was some shit going on, and that she probably doesn't really want to talk about all that much. And so, but to have like family around that's able to impart these like traditions and culture, and it is so important, and to know that like my aunt, she was able to pass down to me like the information of like where like back where our family traces from, starting from Spain, and like the journey of that, like having that information, I think is just so valuable. um but yeah, I do think that it should be in the family, but I also think external forces have a big play in that as well.
Yeah, it's like especially in the for a lot of like kids in the 90s, divorce was on the rise in the 70s and 80s. So by
Mm,
the 90s, there were a lot more latchkey kids.
yeah.
And I feel like that's another reason the 90s pop culture is so big and so nostalgic for some of us, because we didn't have that two-parent household.
Mm,
We're coming home from school, we're by ourselves until like dinner time, and that's who raised me. It was TV and
mm,
people like me. Like you mentioned Steve at the beginning of the podcast. He's another person that was raised by TV because we just didn't have those parental people around all the time. So
yeah.
that's where we got a lot of our insight into who we are.
Right.
But when you're Black or Mexican, it's like, well, who am I racially?
And then
You don't
mix
really know.
too.
It's a little
Yeah.
confusing,
Mm.
but I know who I am as like a middle child because of Darlene from Roseanne. I know who I am as a nerd because of Phoebe from Hey Arnold. It's like you kind of pick and choose other ways to express yourself. And it's
Hmm.
not always race,
Right.
but it's nice when there are different people, like Lisa Turtle from Saved by
Right.
the
Listen
Bell was
to
a
it.
nice little person to see in pop
Yeah.
culture back in the day as well.
For sure. For sure. It's a cultural thing. Did I just read that? Oh yeah. It's a cultural thing in places that nipples are normal to see. They also can have a taboo for eating in public. That's interesting. I've never heard of that, but that's really cool. That has to be true. I'm not saying you're a liar, Script Queen. I'm just saying, like, wow, I've never heard of that. That's really interesting. That there's some cultures out there that are like, don't be eating out in public. It's disgusting. What are you, some kind of monster? What is going on here? But it's honestly likely a culture thing as a taboo. If you look at modern hunter-gatherer tribes, they do not see boobs as sexual, which is why most tribal women are topless. Right on. TV raised the 80s generation too, yeah. Cherry from Punker Brewster gave me life as a child. Hey Arnold, such a great kids show. Move it, football head. Oh,
Hey
dude.
Arnold is one of the best 90s shows. It was the most diverse.
Mm,
And I mean, those kids, I mean, racially, but they also looked like they were weird looking kids.
right.
And I talked to somebody in a recent interview and seeing those alternative kind of families, like being raised by your grandparents
Mm,
or being raised by, like in Full House, you had three dads of
mm.
a
Yeah.
sort. That also was big in the 90s. Another thing that we kind of latched onto.
Yeah.
Not a lot of single parent things, I must say.
Right.
Now
Right.
I'm thinking about it, but
In the 70s, you mentioned that in the 70s there was a lot of single parent households. Like, what? Why is that?
divorce was on the rise in the 70s. A lot of women were, that was kind of like, you watch TV, like Mary Tyler Moore was big because women were going into the workforce because they were realizing, I don't need no man, I can get out there and do it myself.
Hey.
So it's interesting. Yeah, so divorce rates, women realizing I don't got to be around him if I don't need to be.
Yeah.
And then that translated to the 80s, which really was the defining of latchkey kids in the 80s.
No fault divorce. I don't know what that means. Good queen. I heard about an ice cream shop trying to open in an African country, and they were having the issue that people's ice cream would melt before they got home to eat it because they wouldn't eat it in public. Interesting. What a conundrum. How do you get past that? How do you get past that cultural block, right? Like, how do you do that? I don't know. I had the Hey Arnold theme stuck in my head the other day out of nowhere. It was enjoyable. Yeah. I love Doug too. I love Doug for the reason that there was like, hold on.
I have some issues with
Please,
Doug.
you tell me the issues before I tell you how much I loved it.
First off, did you know? Okay, he loved Patty Mayonnaise so much.
Yeah.
It was like an insane infatuation. He was only 11.
Oh.
He was only supposed to be 11. I thought he was like 13, 14. And I was like, all right. But 11? That was crazy. And then when they moved to Disney, I recently just watched it because I just needed something to be on. There was a character named Connie, and she was a bigger girl in the Nickelodeon version. Well, the first episode for the Disney version, he's having a birthday party and he's like, oh, Connie will come. Let me give her an invitation. She opens the door. She's way thinner. And it's because she went to a special makeover camp during the summer. And I was like, Disney. Because as a fat kid in my childhood, seeing that's another representation right there is bigger kids, you know? So I was like, oh, hell no, Disney. You made that. I was living. It was like 3 a.m. I tweeted about it. I was like, it is too late for me to be this mad at Doug.
Damn you, Doug.
But I mean, overall, otherwise, okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's a Nickelodeon classic. I'll give it that.
Yeah. Well, I do say I was a fat kid myself. I was like 325 in high school. So it was like that. Yeah. No, I always love commiserating with other former fats, you know.
Oh my God. I swear we need a club.
Oh, me and my friend, we're gonna start a podcast called Former Fats, where we interview people that lost a bunch of weight.
Like in middle school, me and my friends, it's like when you're fat too, you kind of like clump together because you know what it's like, especially in middle school, the most awkward time of our lives. So in middle school, we had a fat kids club, me and my girlfriends,
Nice.
And we would just have slumber parties, and we'd all bring a different food. And we'd watch a movie, and we would also rank the boys in our class. Like, we were very like, okay, let's see whose hair is the best, their eyes, I don't know why we were ranking their bodies. They're like 14-year-old.
We're rated. Yeah. Hey, you calm down, moving Dutchman. You know what? The pandemic has not been kind to me. Okay, I see what you're saying, sir. You calm down. Hot takes over here. No.
My husband's also a former fat kid. He used to weigh about almost 400, and
Whoa.
now he's 2.
I see him walk out. He looks great. Wow. No, my wife was too. My wife was too. She was that's how we really come together though. I mean, so is eating like one of those like super awesome rituals that you guys sharing, or is like eating like
yeah. Or I mean, once a fat kid, always a fat kid. You could lose the weight, but there's still like, if there's fresh baked cookies, you're like, oh yeah,
it's happening.
I'm not one of those like, I lost some weight, now I cannot, like, I'm not like a health nut.
Mm-hmm.
I just happen to like, I don't know how to drive, so I walk a lot.
Oh, okay. So you just move around.
So it just naturally came off at some point in my 20s. So Yeah, so yeah, eating is big for us. There used to, when times were normal,
Right.
there was a foodie con in LA. Oh, talk about a fat kid dream. That's like Costco on like steroids, samples everywhere.
Give it to me, please.
I
Yummy.
know, I love food. And I grew up, like I said, latchkey, so I'm a very microwave person, but I learned
Yes.
to cook in the recent years, so I'm like a natural baker, my husband
Hey,
says.
that's
So yeah,
amazing.
I got into that bread phase of the quarantine.
Yo, oh yeah, were you baking bread too?
Oh yeah, I
Oh
was like
yeah.
Italian bread, naan all day, banana bread, pumpkin bread.
Dude, yeah, we went bread crazy ourselves. I wanted to read this Script Queen said something earlier that I wanted them to kind of elaborate on. No fault divorce is where one of the couples doesn't need to do something wrong to initiate a divorce. Before divorces were granted, if someone cheated or there was abuse. I see. I see. Okay, right on. My dog is my saving grace. I walk 2 to 3 miles a day for the boys, so I burn my beer calories. Pizza, yeah, pizza, pizza jam, just like
Pizza.
pizza.
Pizza. They
Pizza.
just I don't know, for the former fats and current fat kids out there, they just released Chuck E. Cheese pizza for in home, like frozen pizza.
How dare
I
they?
know. I posted on Instagram stories. This is the most attention any of my stories ever got. My friend or in my DMs like, where do you get it?
Where
Oh
is
my
it?
god, I haven't eaten it yet. I haven't tried it. I'll report back. But I was so Chuck E. Cheese was my jam, especially in college. There was one right down the street. So after our morning classes, me and my best friend would go down there and it'd be like empty. And that weird little band would be playing
Yeah.
the
Oh god.
animatronic.
Talk about creepers right there. That was creepers.
I know.
No,
We were like, oh God, it looks like we're so creepy, but we're just fat.
we're
Please
just.
just ignore us. We just came here for the pineapple
Can I just
pizza.
tell you that you are not the only guest who has
Oh,
said that they have actually gone like and even still go to this day like just go there like you're probably like the third guest who said that like so because food is I mean it's a topic here because former fat thing but yeah Chuck E. Cheese used to have beer. Yes it
they
did.
did. They did.
Latchkey independent kids that learn to be self-sufficient. Yeah, sometimes I was a latchkey kid and my parents stayed together but they worked day jobs and my dad worked at like 14 to 16 hours a day, so he'd get home at like 8 at night. Meanwhile me and my sister are like starting fires in the house, fucking just making messes, just spraying, having egg fights in the house, like, and not cleaning it up. Like, fuck it, we're not. Who's gonna? Who cares?
What is like the age difference between you guys?
5 years. So
Okay.
she's
Oh, me and
older.
my brother are I have a little brother that's 6 years.
Ah,
So
so
it's
you're
kinda like,
the older sibling.
I'm the
Oh,
middle
middle. That's
child,
right.
but
You
the
said that.
older that was in our older brother is like 12 years older, so he was already
Ah.
like out living his life.
Right, right. So okay, so you were basically the older sibling,
Yeah,
but
for him, yeah.
we have a baby interview. Baby interview. That's weird. We have a Baby Yoda interview, and
Aw.
we're gonna do that. So Baby Yoda, can you, Baby Yoda? I am summoning you, Baby Yoda. Please, you are needed. You are wanted. Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda. All right, we'll give Baby Yoda a chance to get in here. Uh,
Another Chuck E. Cheese thing.
Please.
Me and I was on the yearbook staff in high school, and so we got to get to pick one of those like the class clown
Yeah,
and
sure.
everything. So me and my best friend, we were like, let's do the category best friends because we're gonna win.
Yeah.
So everyone's gonna vote for us. So we got it, and then we wore like these Chuck E. Cheese shirts for our picture. It says like something about being like best friends. It's like,
Well, that's cute. I mean, did you win?
yeah, we won. There was another pair of girls that were kind of, and we were both the class you voted in.
Mhm.
I was in a class with the other girl, and she was in the class so we were like, don't vote for them. Don't vote for them. Like we went to campaign. I was really worried. I was like, oh crap, Jolene and that girl are gonna take our thing because I was like, we've been best friends since 4th grade. There's no way. Because even like growing up, you didn't say my name without saying her name.
Yeah.
We just came as a pair.
Aw,
So I was like, we have to win. We
that's
did.
And you won. Baby Yoda, are you there? Oh,
Yes.
there you are, Baby Yoda. Welcome in. Welcome in.
Aw.
Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you beaming down, taking time out of your busy day. How are you doing today?
Pretty good.
Yeah? What you been doing today?
Mostly playing spacecraft.
Oh, spacecraft. Yeah, the space version of Minecraft. In case anybody's wondering, Baby Yoda, do you have a question for today's guest, Kendra BEltran?
Yes.
Oh, please ask
cute.
away.
What's your favorite color?
Ooh, what is your favorite color?
My favorite color is yellow.
Hey, there it is, yellow.
Yeah, I love yellow and purple, but I'm not a Lakers fans, but they have beautiful aesthetics.
There you go. There you go. Baby Yoda, do you have another question for our guest today?
Yes.
He's thinking. He's thinking.
Okay. Don't rush him.
Yeah, we can't rush him.
What's your favorite thing to watch on TV?
Oh, what's your favorite
Ooh.
thing to watch on TV?
Right now, it is RuPaul's Drag Race.
Wow,
It's-
RuPaul's
it's
Drag
my
Race.
it's my comfort show through everything.
Wild but sober. Welcome in. Thank you for the raid, bringing your friends over. We're just finishing up a Baby Yoda interview, and then we'll do your raid song, and then we're gonna let Kendra go because I told her it'd be 2 hours, and we're running on 2. Anyways, Kendra, do you have a question for Baby Yoda?
Baby Yoda. How did those like blue macaroon things taste?
Oh, how did the blue macaroon things
Yeah,
taste,
when
Baby
you're in the
Yoda?
classroom.
Yeah, when you're in the classroom, how'd that taste?
Not really that good.
Oh,
Oh,
Mm.
okay.
I mean, they're blue macaroons. I mean, maybe in your place that's awesome, but I don't know. I don't know.
It's not
As
that
a
good in
former
our
fat.
place because it takes a long time to get here, and
Oh.
almost not that tasty after a while.
Ah, so if it sits out for too long, it's not that good. So
Yeah.
it can go bad in shipping. You're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it has to go all the way through space.
yeah. Light years are no short
Shipping.
feat. That is for sure.
Definitely light years.
Definitely light years away. Baby Yoda, thank you so much for this very, very interesting and mind expanding conversation that you induced to us. Do you have any final words, Baby Yoda, before you leave? Any words of wisdom that you would like to impart with us?
If you ever find the world of Baby Yodas, make sure you make sure you can find me.
Words of wisdom by Baby Yoda. Everybody, give him a round of applause. Baby Yoda, thank you so much. You have a great rest of your day, buddy. Thank you so much. Peace
Flew
out.
out of there.
There we go. There it is. There it is. Okay.
I do love Baby Yoda.
Yeah, Grogu. Yeah, Grogu is the man or the baby.
Everyone talks about like the Emmy nominations for like Pedro Pascal and everyone on the
Yeah.
show, and I'm like, where's Grogu's?
Yeah, where is Grogu's?
He owns the show.
and
He
where-
is the show.
And where's Gina's nomination?
Ugh. She's not even that good of an actor on the show. I'm like, you guys, they only nominate good actors, not just because you're there. And like, regardless of what she says or believes, she's not a good actress.
You know what?
On that role.
She was an MMA fighter. Like, I don't know how good of an actress the MMA fighters could be, but whatever. It's what's
What's in it? She's Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, Ronda Rousey. She's an
Another one.
actress. Yeah, she began acting.
Those Fast and Furious films.
Did I say actressing? I almost said actressing. That's what I almost said. Okay, we're going to do a really quick rendition of Tacos, and then we're going to get back for our final words with our guest today, Kendra BEltran. Okay, guys. Thank you for the raid, Wild But Sober. And by the way, for all those who came over, and if you're still here, that is. I know this took me a while to get here, but my name is Mike. This is a music podcast. Sometimes we have live music streams, and I play music and I do live looping, and all kinds of fun stuff. So here you go, Wild But Sober. Thank you so much for the raid. And here you go. It's raining tacos. Oops, okay, let's do it in the right key. It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos. No need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. I gotta stop looking at the chat. It's raining tacos from out in the streets. Tacos, all you can eat. Lettuce and shells, cheese and wheat. Oh, it's raining tacos. Half Mexican tacos. Shut up, Cartagena. Yum, yum, yummity, yum. It's like a dream. Yum, yum, yummity, yum. More sour cream. It's raining taco. Ooh, tacos. Ooh, tacos. Ooh. It's raining pizzas. It's raining pizzas from out of the sky. Pizzas. No need to ask why. Open your mouth, close your eyes. It's raining pizza jams TV. Boom! Watch out. There it is. It's raining tacos, everybody. Okay. It's raining salad galley. You better watch your mouth, sir. All right. Here we go. Let's get back to our guest and have some final words here. Kendra, thank you so much for coming on the show and giving us your time. I so appreciate your insight into pop culture because I feel like in this last year I've kind of lost touch with a lot of it. So it's nice that people
enjoy sometimes.
It is. Thank you for that. Woo, Reina Mystique. I appreciate that. R.I.P. Nature Boy at the WWE. We wish you the best, Nature Boy. Thank you, Ric Flair, for all your time. Hey, Kendra, so do you have any last words you'd like to impart on us or anything? And where can we find you? Not or, and.
Well, you can find me on Twitter. It's Crushgasm Pod, and on Instagram, Crushgasm Podcast, and then Facebook's just Crushgasm. Or you can go to the website. It's just crushgasm.wordpress.com. And any last words? I'd say, check out that Chuck E. Cheese pizza. Let me know how you like it.
Oh my God. And then of course Papa Sweet has to throw in sometimes you just gotta open your mouth and close your eyes and accept the sour cream. Come on, Papa Smith. Papa Sweet, what is this? Is this
sour on like a taco?
Yeah. No. You don't like sour cream on tacos?
I'm not a condiment person.
Really?
I don't like a lot of accoutrement.
Oh my gosh.
I love barbecue sauce and I like McDonald's sweet and sour, but that's about it.
Yo, McDonald's sweet and sour it does hit. It does hit. You're absolutely right. Those nuggets in there.
As a former fats, you just food hits.
You know what you like. You know what you like.
But McDonald's took away that orange high C for a few years and I kind of had to break up with McDonald's, but they brought it back.
Yeah, you gotta have meat in your taco. Sour cream or vanilla ice cream. What are you talking about, Wild But Sober? And by the way, Wild But Sober, I didn't see your question. What happened to your question? You usually have your little smart ass question. Where is it? You know what? Before you go, this is what we'll leave you with because Wild But Sober knows his job. He knows what he's supposed to do, and yet he refuses to do it. So I will do it for him. Okay, this is the last question, and I'm sorry to lay this on you on the last thing that you're gonna say. And I do apologize, and I hope that this doesn't like mess up the rest of your day. I just hate it. Oh, now he's gonna do it. Waffles or pretzels? Now, before you answer, know that these pretzels are soft baked, salted pretzels, fresh out of the oven. However, whatever non-accoutrement or accoutrement that you want with it. So there you go. Now, waffles, however you want them, and pretzels fresh baked, not those little crappy cracker things. So go ahead.
Pretzels. I don't like waffles because I don't like that, like the butter has to be super soft and I don't like when it gets stuck in the crevices. I'm a pancake person for life for that reason. And it's hard to find a good waffle except for like the, Eggo.
Yeah.
Like at a restaurant, like I hate when they're super hard.
Yeah.
But a pretzel, like those mall pretzels,
Yeah.
especially a pizza one.
Oh,
Perfect.
watch
Perfect
out.
pizza.
Words to live by. Kendra BEltran, everybody. Thank you so much, Kendra, for coming on the show. I had absolute joy. And by the way, like, it was so much fun not going too far down the rabbit holes because, like I said, it's just been a couple weeks for me. So, all right, Kendra, thank you so much. You have a great rest of your day, and I'll be in touch
Thank
with you to wrap up afterwards. So,
Okay.
all right,
Do
have
I
a great.
stay on?
Oh, no, you're
Yeah.
done. You're done. You could go.
Okay.
You could go. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Kendra. Great cat. Yeah, I agree. You know what? It's not over yet, guys.